Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Match reaction today for the Leeds versus Brighton game that we've just lost 3-0 at the Amex. If you're new here, make sure you hit that button down below. And of course, make sure you go and check out the links in the description, specifically to my Etsy shop. With Christmas coming up, there is plenty of stuff on there for any kind of relative who is a Leeds United fan. Check it out down below. Leeds have just lost 3-0 to Brighton, and let's go through chronologically like we usually do. The way we started the game was an issue for me. If we're breaking this down, like we're not just piling on and being negative, we're breaking this down. The way that we started the game was an issue for me. And the reason is that Leeds did not put any pressure on the ball. In the early stages, Leeds looked like they were sat in, defending and hoping to kind of weather the storm of the first 10, 15 minutes. But in that time, every time Brighton attacked, the person who was carrying the ball, usually a midfielder towards the box, Leeds wouldn't put any pressure on them. So you saw when Leeds came forward that when you've got a lot of players who are kind of all in line on the edge of the box, waiting to make runs into the box, haven't you, when you're playing towards the opposition goal. And in this situation, when we attacked them, you'd always have somebody come out and not attack, but like put pressure on the person who has the ball. So let's say it's Ampadu carrying the ball towards their goal, and or Tanaka or Longstaff, they're looking this way and that, looking for a pass. But there's always one player who comes out and puts a bit of pressure on the ball to make them think twice about what they're going to do and maybe pass it sideways instead of passing forward and giving them time to think. Leeds in the first 10 minutes didn't do that. We didn't put any pressure on the ball. We didn't go out to the player to stop them and make them think and give them pause for thought. Instead, we let them to have the time to look up, look around, find a pass, and then attack us. And it resulted in us conceding a goal, and nobody tracked Welbeck in the box for his goal. After that, we improved massively. We started carrying the ball forward more. We started getting a lot more possession, but similar problems are still plaguing us. We don't have the finishing ability. We're creating chances. Jayden Bogle, that ball right across the face of goal, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin, whose one job is to get there and put that in the back of the net, wasn't near enough to it, so didn't score. It wasn't until the 80-odd minute, when we were already 3-0 down, that we had our first two shots on target, and that was when we made some changes, bringing on Lucas Mecha and Anton Stack, who both made a difference, I think, and I think I will be starting both of them, especially over Calvert-Lewin, in the next game. But we'll go back in time. So we were more dominant in possession, and we weren't being as passive, and we were being defensively a bit better all the way to the half-time. Then when we came out in the second half, I thought we should have made subs at half-time. I thought Dan James should have come on for Aronson at half-time. That would have been the one sub that I would have made. Coming on a little bit later in the game, maybe in the 60th minute, that's when I would have brought Stack, and I probably would have brought Mecha on as well at that moment, because that just freshens you up a little bit. And I think what it allows you to do is stretch the game a little bit. It makes the opposition think twice about sending so many players forward, having Dan James there trying to pin Kadioglu back. But obviously he didn't make those subs until the 60th. That then fizzled out pretty quickly because Brighton were being really dominant, and after a certain point you just couldn't see Leeds scoring. There was mistakes. Jayden Bogle's when he just kneed it to Jorginho Rutter and just gave it to them on a plate, that was really poor. Lucas Perry came up with some really good saves at the end, but overall, there's a level of. Let's address this actually, because I had a lot of people in the chat saying Farker out, and that in the live stream that is, and that they didn't like the way we played, we're tactically inept, etc., etc. Take that to one side for a second. Actually, no, we'll address that. Daniel Farker has set up a team as best as he can. He is our current manager, and all we can do is support him. He has set up the team as best as he can to win that game. Now, the first stages, the opening 10 minutes, I'm not going to make excuses for him, but for me, I can't imagine a Premier League manager not saying, go and put pressure on the ball. But if he has said that, then that is on him. right? And that's poor for those opening 10 minutes. But with the actual chances that we created and the way that we dominated the ball, we cannot finish. So even though all he can do is set you up to a position where you're going to create chances, and we did create some chances and we didn't get a shot on target until the 80th minute. The recruitment in the summer, whilst all the way up until the striker position, I believe has been decent recruitment. I think Gabriel Goodmanson's fantastic. I think Biyol's been decent since he's come in. Yes, the people make complaints about him, but it's the whole team that are doing it, isn't it? It's not just one player. And I don't think Strauch makes a difference in that situation. In fact, it might be worse. Okafor's good, but we needed more attacking midfielders who have that creative flair, and we needed a striker. And Daniel Farke was very clear in his interviews and stuff that is what he wanted. He wanted another striker who it looked as though at one point we were willing to spend about £30 million on, and he wanted a creative attacking midfielder, i.e. Harry Wilson, who we were scrambling around for on deadline day, which I think we should be looking at better than, really, to improve our squad. And he wasn't given that. So then when he's creating the chances to score goals, but the players that he's got at his disposal aren't finishing them off, that's when you start to look at it and go, well, what else can he do in that situation? He made some subs in this game that affected it positively, but it was too little too late. We conceded 3 goals. We didn't really ever look like scoring with the kind of finishing ability that we have. And in the end, we've lost a game 3-0. Now, also, I want to take into context. I was told that we were retroactively going back and saying that Brighton were a good side. Brighton are a very good side. Brighton are an established Premier League side. And when we say established, there's a bit of confusion within this. Yes, established means that they've been there for a few years and they are in the Premier League and have been for a while. It's not just that. It's the fact that they've got a good manager. It's the fact that they've got good players. It's the fact that they have really performed well last season. And despite not a fantastic start to the season, with this win, they now go up to 8th position and are a very, very decent side who look like they could be in with a chance of Europa League football or Conference League football, which is way above our level. We shouldn't be losing 3-0 to them. We could be getting a draw against a team like Brighton. But to go away to Brighton, who we have a terrible record against, and expect us to do anything more than get a draw at most, I think we're deluding ourselves a little bit. We've got to remember that we are a newly promoted side. It doesn't matter that we're Leeds United. It doesn't matter that we perceive ourselves to be such a big club. It matters what happens on the pitch and how much you're allowed to spend within PSR. We've spent right up to our maximum, to our limit, and what we've got at the moment isn't good enough to score enough goals. Now, hopefully that turns around sooner rather than later. I'd like personally to see a little bit more of Joel Peru, because you can't just write him off and say that he wouldn't be able to do it in the Premier League without even giving him a chance. You've got to give him a bit of a look in here. But overall, look, I think... the last thing I'll say then for this video, the lineup from the start, obviously it's not that's how it ended. Aronson shouldn't have started because he went from hero to zero. He was really good last week and was so poor this week. He really did not help himself. Honestly, at one point, Joe Rodon played him a 5-yard pass, like literally P-rolled it to him from 5 yards away, and his touch was almost further than the pass had been, and he got it taken off him. So there was some poor individual performances. Overall, we didn't have the desire to go and get the ball. And again, the finishing lacks conviction. And we keep conceding early on in games, and we've got to stop doing that. So that's my thoughts overall on this game. Let's move on to the next one. There'll be a tactical preview in the week, and then, of course, we'll be live, and then another match reaction after that as well. So make sure you stick around, stay subbed, and thanks for watching Leeds lately. I'll see you in the next one.